Hello, my name is... And today we're going to be talking about how to fix anything. Let's start with a story. On one of my first days of college, when I was moving in, it was move-in day, I come into the new apartment, I hear this loud thudding sound. I asked my roommates, what's that sound? Like, what's going on? And they're like, oh yeah, it's the dryer. It just keeps making this huge sound. It sounded kind of like, So, they weren't doing anything. Every time I would go around, it would just bang. And so I ran to my car, grabbed my little toolbox I had, and I came back in, took the lid off the dryer, undid some bolts and stuff. Looked inside the dryer, and it turns out on the drum there was a little bit of sheet metal that was peeling up, and it was catching an edge every time it went around a rotation. So it would like smack the side of the dryer. The electric motor would overcome that, and then it'd thud and make its way around again, and then just keep clipping that edge. Took a hammer and a chisel, chiseled down the sheet metal, and then it was fixed. And everyone was like, how did you do that? How did you know how to do that? And I was like, well, I didn't know how. I just started taking things apart and then figured it out. And that's a big part of the whole thing, is you gotta just start somewhere. Take the initiative. Fix stuff. Today, I'll be showing you how to use a 7-step diagnostic process on how to fix just about anything. And I'll be showing you an example problem of me using that process to fix one of my cars. So, the 7-step diagnostic process. The first step is to verify the problem. We need to make sure we understand the problem in order to be able to fix it. If we can replicate the problem or see it, that's great. It'll really help us figure it out. Step number 2 is to perform a visual inspection. Hey! What are you doing here? We need to look and see if we can find any obvious red flags. The third step is to gather data and study it. This is where we really become a detective and we're looking for clues to know what's wrong. Once we get those clues, we can move on to step number 4, which is to develop a diagnostic plan. If we make a plan and then we follow that plan, we can usually figure out what's wrong. Step 5 is to perform tests. Tests that we've planned out from step 4 in the diagnostic plan. Those tests are going to help us figure out the root cause of the problem. Step 6 is to determine the root cause of the problem and make the repair. This is where we take everything we've learned from our diagnostic process and find out what our problem is. Now we can make the correct repair. We don't want to skip steps in the process and make the wrong repair. We want to make the right repair and repair it for good. This brings us to our last step. Step 7, verify your repair. We want to make sure that our repair was legit and we don't want that problem to come back. And just like that, 7-step process, pretty simple, but let me show you an example of how I use it to fix a car. And then you can really see how it kind of works. Let me go get the problem car. I need to do the 7-step process on my garage door. This is my 2002 Audi A4, and it has a suspected coolant leak. Low coolant light on the dash keeps coming on. We're going to look into that and see if we can figure out why that's happening. So here I have verify the problem, suspected coolant leak, but I put suspected because I don't even know if it's true, so I'm going to verify that problem right now. When I drove it in, the dash light for the low coolant was not on. But if I move on to my next step, we should finish step 1 first, but just performing a quick visual inspection does show me that the coolant is low. So to complete step 1 to verify the problem, I'm just going to top off the coolant real quick, and then I'll have to drive it for a week to figure out if it's still leaky or if it was just left unfull. Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes you need to put some extra time into certain steps, like figuring out if this is a real leak or not. Okay, nice and full, back to the max line. We'll give this a drive for a week and see if it keeps that level. Well, our problem persists. It looks like we lost some coolant. So we did verify our problem. We have a coolant leak. It's not suspected. It's legit. Now we need to perform a visual inspection and see if we can find any red flags or anything that's wrong with the system. Doesn't appear to be any leaks up here. No coolant residue. No problems with any of these lines. I'll just keep looking around. I don't see any leaks in the lower radiator hose. Really not much to see up top. This is always the fun part. Looking around. There's definitely an oil leak. I don't see any coolant down here though, or residual coolant. Lower radiator hose looks okay. Heater core usually would be in the back. Alright, that's just how it goes sometimes. I did my visual inspection. No obvious leaks, but I did my inspection. Now we want to gather data and study it. As far as data goes, I guess I'll just list down what I have. So low coolant in the reservoir, the dash light's on, well, that's a past symptom. The dash light's been on in the past, and it loses coolant consistently, so I know those facts. This is kind of the meditation portion of the plan where you really just think about your problem. And I've been thinking about it. I think it's a leak. The coolant is disappearing somewhere. I want to know where that is so I can fix it. Let's move on to step 4. Develop a diagnostic plan. What can we do to figure that out? I already know that if I top off the coolant, it'll go away and get lost. So I think I should run a test on the system. What really helps is experience with this kind of thing, but you can do this without experience. You just have to look it up online and kind of figure things out. I know for a car there's the radiator, the engine block. Just gonna do a block for that. There's a big hose on the bottom, big hose on the top. And you've got a heater core that has some little hoses to it. A lot of coolant passageways in the engine, and then a water pump in here that kind of makes coolant move around through the whole thing. So it's going to be one of these components. I'm looking at lines, I think, because that's usually the most common failure. But as a whole, I will pressure test the cooling system. Good handwriting. All right, step 5, perform tests. Let's test this thing. Lucky for me, I have a cooling system pressure tester. Got it from Harbor Freight, it's pretty awesome. Has lots of fittings for all kinds of cars. I think we're after this blue one. Yeah. So I'm just gonna pressurize this and get it to hold pressure over time, probably like an hour. We'll come back and see how much the pressure is lost. This test should give us good information to move forward, but I don't know how much pressure to give it. Most cars, it's like, you know, somewhere between 5 and 20 psi. Not a ton. I don't want to overdo it though, so I'm going to ask Rock. How much pressure? I'm not like a huge fan of AI, but it's really good for car stuff. So 1.4 bar. What's 1.4 bar to psi? 20 psi. Wow, that's pretty high actually. So let's just give this 20. I'm sure 15 will be plenty. I don't really want to overdo it. Gone ahead and give it an 18 psi. I'm right on the line. And I can start a timer and we'll see how much pressure it loses over time. Alright, I have good news. It's only been like 5 minutes and we've lost like 3 psi. It's at 15 psi now. We started at 18, but I wanted to end this test early because I noticed we've got a little puddle forming. Yeah, it's dripping a lot actually. Looking at this, it looks like it's coming from this radiator hose. Probably. Yeah. So now I think we found our problem. This upper radiator hose is leaking. I'll be honest with you, that was a really quick find, but I have experience. So experience is a huge thing with doing this process. And the more you do the process, the easier it gets, and the more experience you get. And tools. Tools really help you. So diagnostic tools like this pressure tester, super good. But now we can go back to our plan and fill it out. Pressure tested and it failed. determine the root cause and repair it. Well, root cause, that's going to be our upper radiator hose. So now we can repair that. Let's fast forward to the future. Well, ordered my parts, got my new upper radiator hose. Let's make our repair. Oh man, time to make a big mess. I got to take this off, and a lot of coolant's going to come out, so I'm just going to drain it all from underneath. Okay. There it is. You can see old residue of where it separated off this plastic flange thing. New hose. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now we just gotta plug the bottom and fill it back up. I think one of the belts got wet. This is an air purge at the highest point. I'm just kind of opening it to get the air out, but so far so good. Okay, looking good. Heater is nice and warm. Engine is to temp, so the thermostat's been opening, and then the cooling system's been cycling the coolant through everything. The repair is complete. Now that I've completed my repair, I can finally move on to the last step, step 7, verify the repair. Can you guess what I'm gonna do? This stuff again. Leave it under pressure for like a couple hours, see how it looks. I actually had to restart this thing because it went all the way down to 0. Lost all its pressure, and this is why we verify the repair, because obviously I didn't fix the problem for good. Now, we're not leaking from the repair we made on the upper radiator hose. That's great, we did fix that for good, but we've got another consistent coolant drip. If I come up top, it's from behind the engine. Maybe I can show you. I think it's a heater core hose somewhere back there. But again, that's why we verify the repair, because we want to make sure we solve it for good. So now I've got more work cut out for me, and I gotta actually go through the process again and verify my repair. At least I did check. Now you might be wondering, how do I work on stuff? How do I figure it out? How do I work with tools, know what tools to use, take things apart? Well, it's easy. It really is. You just gotta start somewhere. That's what I did. People always ask me, Stewie, how did you learn how to work on cars? How do you know how to take these things apart and figure them out? And it's like, half the time I don't. I just try it out and use a lot of YouTube. You can figure it out. The resources are out there. Just get curious, get confident, just try it, and you'll figure it out. Now, my channel has a problem that I'm trying to fix. I could use the 7-step diagnostic process. I kind of have. I do a lot of research and stuff, but I think the main thing is I'm not getting enough views, and need more subscribers. That's kind of the bread and butter for the whole YouTube thing. So if you want to help me out, I'm super grateful if you watch this far. Like and subscribe, share this video with someone. That would be awesome for me. I really want to make more videos like this. And if you want to see more videos where I'm going through the 7-step diagnostic process, again, to fix other problems, just let me know in the comments. That'd be super great. Thank you for all your support. I hope this helped you out. And good luck out there wrenching. And I'll see ya.
Stuck my arm in coolant. Ugh.